G'day. This week I didn't really travel that much. I scooted out to Southern Cross, which is a great little town. I want to talk to you about it, but there's really not enough meat in the sandwich for me to talk expansively. So instead I'm going to talk to you about a few tips and tricks, and some of them will be painfully obvious and some of them will be hopefully an aha moment. So without any further ado, let's go. Whenever you buy something important, something reasonably big, or something that you think you might end up having to make a claim on warranty, make certain you take a photo of it, of the actual receipt. That way you can, and don't just do any old snappy Tom, make certain you've got the name of the company, the amount you paid and the date on your actual photo. And if in doubt, take two photos, one at the top and one at the bottom. Now, it's all very well to say, oh, well, no, I only use credit cards, so I'll always have it. Credit card and having to go through all your credit card files is not quite the same as the guy says, yeah, no problems, it's under warranty. Where's your proof of purchase? Well, I used my credit card. Yeah, but your proof of purchase. Well, there, I paid that amount to Supercheap, for instance, on the day. Yeah, but it doesn't say what you bought. So it can end up being an absolute nightmare. By the way, that did not happen to me. But what did happen to me was another little trick. If you buy something and it's under warranty, say for instance it's got an 18-month warranty, that's great. You buy it and after 7 months it plays up, you contact the supplier says, oh yeah, no problems, here's a new one, right? And then they give you another one. So I didn't realise, and you may or may not know it, but after 7 months, that 7 months used up out of your 18 months. So I've got 11 months on the new product they give me. And even if they give me a third product, it's all totaled over the whole period of the 18 months or the 12 months or whatever the warranty is. So the other day I had a problem with the car battery. Yeah, no problems, took it in. Oh, this wasn't the other day, this is about 5 months ago. Took it in, yeah, no problems, got the proof of purchase. Yes, I did, as it turns out. A bit of a drama with that, that's my fault, because I didn't take a photo. Actually, I did take a photo and my camera got broken, so I never had the photo. You know, I dribble on. Yeah, anyway, so I got a brand new battery after the 7 months. I had 12-month warranty. And then last month, the battery died, new battery died again. So then when I went in to make an exchange, because I was told that the second battery also had a brand new 12 months. No. It's all inclusive from the first purchase. Chocks away. They have the big chocks on the aeroplane when they release them. Not quite the same. Now, my strong recommendation, especially if you've got a medium to large size Caravan, is to get these. They're solid rubber. They are a little bit heavy, but hey, they are trying to hold back a 2.5 to 3.5 ton Caravan. And if you're really, really lucky, you might find someone who can, whatever that's called, braid a little bit of rope on it, so that when you put it behind the wheel, you don't have to climb down and sort of fiddle all around. You could just pull it away. So yeah, some good solid chocks, definitely worth investment. I've had plastic ones before and I've driven over them, reversed and driven forward, and they've just blown to smithereens. So worth an investment. Now this one could be one of those painfully obvious ones. He said, oh mate, we all do that. You go and do your swapping your gas, whatever service station or whatever hardware store you go to, and you just take it for granted all's good. So straight away you go back, pop it back into the van and lock it up. Talk about locks in a minute. And off you go. So you're out in the middle of the bush, first gas cylinder's out. Oh, that's right, we filled it up the other day, no problems. So then what you do is you hook it in, screw it in, all good, turn on the gas, not working. Strange. Go back in the van, check everything, check the gas stove, not working, check any of the other ones you want to check, which might be the hot water service or whatever. No gas coming through at all. Check it, it's definitely full. So then what you do is you undo the tape, however you, if you can get it off, undo it, take off the little safety plastic thing. Now what should happen, and you should be able to hear it, the moment you turn that, it should go tsh, you should be able to smell gas. Yesterday and about 7 weeks ago, same thing. I did that, turned it, no noise, no gas. Now I was very lucky both times that I was actually in town, in a big enough town that I could go in and say, oh look, I bought this, and I had to swap it over for a real one. But if otherwise, I'd be out in the middle of the bush, no gas at all. You should hear the sound. Yep, which is okay. You only need to do it once. And now about the locks, I lock my gas things up and I lock a couple of other things up. If you're going on a trip, doesn't matter if you've already got the stuff, don't worry about it. But if you can actually go out and buy it, pay a little bit extra and get a lock with same key. That way if you lose the key, you won't be able to unlock any of the locks. No, that's not true. They usually give you, depending on how many locks you get, they usually give you quite a few keys all exactly the same. Another little trick what I've done, you can't see it very well, but what I've done is I've actually marked, I'll need to top it up, mark the actual key you're using. That way, when you're looking for in your big bunch of jailer's keys, you can look down straight away, oh yeah, I know the one, it's the one with the little mark on it. Please tell me this has happened to you. Here's my normal phone. Probably every second or third day, I've misplaced my phone. Now, okay, I am travelling by myself and there's not that big an area, but I mean in the car or in the van, somehow I've managed to misplace the phone. Now one little trick, based on the fact it's turned on, is I've got an Android, so I will just ask it, hey Google, what time is it?
It's 3:40 p.m.
The same thing as if you're lying in bed and you think, oh, it feels like it's around about time to get out of bed, but you're lying there, you don't have to turn on the light and look at your watch. So you ask the same question and up it comes. And there's a whole series of things you can actually ask it. You can ask it to read you the news, which is great because basically when you're out on the road, like no offence, but I don't really care too much about what's happening in the world. I know I should. Anywho, so I'll just lie in bed and I'll say, read me the news, and it'll tell me the 4 or 5 most important things. So that's done. Actually, we'll tell you a joke, but I probably wouldn't recommend that. And the other thing I ask it, oh, what's the weather? And it knows where you are because you've got location turned on. And it says I'm in Leonora, so to say in Leonora, it is currently 17 degrees. And I'll say, hey Google, what's the weather today? And it'll say, the weather today in...
It's 22 and mostly cloudy. Today, it'll be mostly cloudy, with a high of 22 and a low of 13. And tomorrow, there'll be scattered showers.
Too much information. Thank you. So it's worth using those little tricks. And the other little trick I was going to say is it's not a bad idea, because if you really lose it, or like, I don't know, if you're at a campsite and you leave it in the bathroom or you leave it somewhere, you think, oh, I'm sure I left it at such and such a place, is to have a spare phone. Now try and get, you know, quite often we have our phones and then they get a bit old and we decide to upgrade and this gets put in the shelf or just put away or it's sold or whatever. But if you've got a spare one, it's a really great idea. Pop a little SIM in it, the cheapest one you can get. And if it's just a real cheapie, they might want you to pay every month. It's probably a good idea to put that on direct debit so you know you don't actually lose that number. And then you can phone your phone and walk all around the caravan, walk around there, walk into the bathroom, walk back into the shop you just were, phone it with your spare phone, and hopefully it'll ring. Oh, there it is, and it's, believe me, it's a great relief for the small investment of a SIM card for your trip, whether it's 6 months, 12 months, or whatever it is. I know I'm rattling a bit, but really I think these are pretty important things. Oh, while I'm talking about the phone, and I love using the voice activated thing, while I'm talking about that, it's not a bad idea when I drive. Sometimes I'll drive 300 kilometres a day or 400, but that's probably my max. What I'll do is I will set an alarm to go off around about an hour's time, and that way I know I can pull over, stretch my legs, have a hot drink, you know, just a bit of a break from all of it so I don't literally get too tired when I'm driving. And it's also really handy if I've got the gas on to boil the water for a shower. Again, I like to run a timer, so I'd probably put the timer for the hot water service around about half an hour to 45 minutes. So here we go, I'm just going to tell it to put the timer on and it'll tell me back and I don't need to worry about it again. Hey Google, put the timer on.
Sure, for how long?
1 hour would suffice, thank you.
All right, 1 hour, starting now.
Again, you're probably going to say, oh look, it's painfully obvious, but just in case it slips through the cracks, if you're about to go on a big long trip, or if you're already halfway through a trip and you've got a budget you're looking at and you're running on that budget and seeing everything is going fairly smoothly, don't forget to adjust the new cost of petrol. So the average cost at the moment is around about between $2, $2.20. I always put it at the higher figure so that I can, so my adjustments for my budget seem a little bit safer. And that's also in towns. Once you get out in the absolute desert, that might go up to, you know, $2.65, maybe even $3, so make an allowance for that. So yeah, make certain you adjust your budget for the new price of petrol or diesel. Okay, this app might save your life. Actually, no, it won't. But it certainly might keep you healthy. And because it's got little targets, you might want to aim for the target. Basically, it's called a pedometer. I must admit, now it's installed, it just comes up every day. I can't get rid of it. But basically what it does, and it's very, very intelligent, and actually every time you move and you go over, walk over there, it understands that you're walking. When you first get it, you need to set it up because it needs, obviously, shorter people and taller people have shorter and longer strides. And you basically measure out your stride, your average stride, tell it what the distance is, and then when you've done 7,000 strides or 7,000 steps, it'll then tell you how many calories you've used, how many kilometres you've walked. So it's really quite good, and you can set yourself little goals. The other day I got semi-lost and I ended up walking over 10,000 steps, which was about 7.5 kilometres. But it's really quite good, and as I say, it gives you little targets, and that way they do say if you do a bit of walking, it's very good for your health. I wanted to dispel a rumour. People have got this little theory about emergency calls. Now, how it works, obviously, 999 will get you anywhere you've got reception. So the rumour has, if your provider, say for instance you're in Vodafone, which tends to only have a good reception in main towns, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, in the big cities, and a little not quite so good as you get out in the country. If you need to call emergency and you don't have a reception and you go on emergency calls and then start making your phone call, it won't work if there is no reception from anybody. So what happens is, okay, you're paying Vodafone, but if in the area where Vodafone suddenly doesn't work, you can get reception from Telstra or Optus, then you'll be able to make your emergency call. But if you can't get a reception from Vodafone, Optus, any of the providers, Telstra, any of them, if you've got no reception at all, the emergency calls will not work at all. Oh, the flies, honestly. Okay, the last little point I want to bring up is about your own personal safety and or the safety of your family. Now, there is a couple of free ways of doing it. They're not overly great, but they're certainly a step in the right direction. But right at the moment, I'll talk about the one you actually have to buy. So there's a couple of choices. You can either go Epirb, That's mostly for going out boating, but it's a really great thing to have. You can buy them, as you can see that little chart I've got there. Basically what they do is you go out, so long as you're carrying it with you, hiking or whatever you're doing, and if you get yourself in a situation, you just press the emergency button, and then after a certain point in time, helicopters and all sorts of police and everybody arrives to come and save you. So you better be pretty sure that it really is truly an emergency. Now the other alternative, which is the one I've got, which I bought myself, no sponsorship, which I liked more than the other one, more than the Epirb. The Epirb, you press the button, you know, the troops arrive and they come and save you. A very expensive option for everybody involved in the recovery of you and or your persons and or your equipment. The reason I like this particular one is because the emergency button, what happens is when you press it, it actually sends off an emergency message, that's fine. But then what happens is they will send you back a text, and they will start conversing with you via text. What's the drama? Oh, I've ran out of petrol. Well, you know, we're not sending helicopters and you know, police and everything for that. And then they can give you a choice of how to sort that problem out. Or if you've hurt yourself badly, got a broken leg or a broken arm, they will then more likely send you a text back and say, look, we can definitely be able to help you. If you're able to move yourself, you go and get a couple of sticks and some rope. You can actually make up your own splint, so they can actually help you with that. And they can also say, look, we will send a helicopter, but the nearest one we can get you is probably about 500 metres. Hopefully you can get there. If you can't, that's fine, we'll sort it out. But if you can, these are the coordinates, which you put into your little magic InReach Explorer, and then get yourself over there, and then the helicopter and everything will arrive. But as I say, the thing I really like about it is the fact that you can communicate with them, and they may deem it, like, no offence, but they may deem your emergency not quite as emergency as you think. The other great thing about this little particular product is you can set it up so that you can communicate at home with loved ones. So for instance, you could say, look, I'll send you a text every night. Please don't respond to it because it will cost me money. I'm just going to say, I'm in such and such a position. You can send your GPS coordinates, everything's fine. And I think you're allowed 32 of those texts per month in the subscription, which means that, as I said, your loved ones can know, okay, he's out in the middle of the bush, he's doing whatever, but he's safe tonight. That's great. So, great little product. Oh, and the freebie. So the freebie really just involves maps. So you get your phone, on your phone, then you download these maps. You can refer to GPS, you can plot your where you are, you can record it so that if you're going out a particular path, then you want to go back to where your camp is, you just follow what they call breadcrumbs and all the way back to camp. So as I say, I won't go on about them, but they definitely will be helpful if you're hiking and you manage to get lost. Oh, and the freebie. So the freebie really just involves maps. So you get your phone, on your phone, then you download these maps. You can refer to GPS, you can plot your where you are, you can record it so that if you're going out a particular path, then you want to go back to where your camp is, you just follow what they call breadcrumbs and all the way back to camp. So as I say, I won't go on about them, but they definitely will be helpful if you're hiking and you manage to get lost. And that's a wrap. Probably the video is most useful for newbies or people who are just into travelling and camping, but there might be one or two of you who are quite experienced who think, oh, wow, I never thought of it like that. If you found the video helpful, useful and or entertaining, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and don't forget to hit the little ding button. That'll remind you each time a video is coming up. And if you think it's worth sharing, that would be great as well. Until next time, this is Paul Wheel Drive, signing off.